Hey guys, it's Maddie and welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all having a fabulous day so far, and hopefully this video will make your day even more fabulous. So today I'm doing a Lava Girl costume DIY, and this is probably one of my favorite DIY costumes I've ever done, just because it's so kind of like out of the box, I guess. There aren't that many Lava Girl costumes out there in general, so if you want a cool one, you're kind of gonna have to make it yourself. And here I'm just showing you how I made it. It took a little while, but it actually wasn't that hard. And as a little side note, this video is also a collab with two other awesome YouTubers, and I will link their videos in the description down below. They're both doing things related to DIY Halloween costumes. I think one of them is doing an angel and devil DIY costume, and the other one is testing out cheap Halloween costumes. And so you guys should definitely check out their channels down below. They're awesome YouTubers, and yeah. Also, if you are coming from their channel to my channel and you've never seen my face before, hi, I'm Maddie, nice to meet you. And if you like this video at the end, or if you feel like you really will like this video, you can subscribe right now, or wait to the end of the video to make sure that you like my videos, and then you can subscribe. It's free, I promise you won't regret it. I post some pretty cool stuff. So without further ado, I know I just talked way too much, let's get on with this video. Alright, so I'm starting off this DIY by using this metallic unitard that I found on Amazon for actually pretty cheap. And the first thing I'm doing is just taking a red Sharpie and looking at the actual Lava Girl costume and just mapping out all the sections that I want to paint. So I'm just basically drawing the design, figuring out what parts are like the lava, what parts are the rock, and just kind of mapping that whole thing out first. Next, I'm placing in some cardboard so that it doesn't bleed through when I begin to paint it. And then I'm using a mixture of fabric paints and acrylic paints to create the paint that I'm going to use for the rock part first. And I wasn't exactly sure what the color was that I wanted, so I kept adding different colors to this mixture until it became the perfect color that I liked, which ended up being this kind of mauve pink color that's just a little bit darker and a little bit kind of grayer or browner than the actual metallic color of the unitard. So then, as you can see, I am just painting all of the sections that I sectioned off, and this part's pretty easy, just a little time consuming, but with some patience it can look pretty cool. One thing I did though is I avoided painting the crotch area, even though the actual Lava Girl has all of that area in like the rock color. I just realized that that area can get really kind of bunched up if you paint it and it won't look very good, so I decided to keep it the original shiny pink color just to avoid any weird bunches. Once you're done painting that, then I just added some black to the same color that I was using just to create a darker shade, and then I went back over and kind of shaded around some of the edges, and this is kind of creates a smoky or kind of burnt effect, and Lava Girl had this in her costume too, and I think it just adds a lot of dimension and depth to the whole costume. Once that's done, you can set it aside to dry, and I'm going to show you how I made the little handcuffs. So I'm starting with a piece of foam, and I'm cutting it into kind of a little trapezoid rectangular shape so it can fit around my arm but not look like a complete cylinder, so that it kind of comes out a little bit towards the end. And you can also test it around your arm to see what you like and see what size works best. And once you get the right size that you like, then just cut another one the same exact size, and so you have two of them, and then you can work on the design portion of this. So by looking at a variety of different images, I figured out this is somewhat similar to what the actual Lava Girl has on her arms. So I just sketched out this design, and then I'm painting over the areas just like I did on the unitard. But also, just like the unitard, you're going to want to leave a little space for all of the cool lava parts that we're going to paint in later. And don't forget to shade in this one with some darker black colors as well. And while we're waiting for that to dry, we can work on these squiggly design things that will glue onto the arm cuffs. So first I'm just drawing 3 kind of quarter-sized circles, and then 2 like S shapes from either side of the circles and connecting them. Then using the same color that we painted the unitard, but with a few drops of black just to make it a little darker, I'm going to be painting the little S shapes of this. And then for the middle circle, I'm using a combination of yellow puff paint, orange acrylic paint, and glow-in-the-dark paint to make this circle really pop. Oh, and then I'm adding glitter on top of that too. So while we're waiting for that to dry, we can move on to making the belt. So the belt is kind of tricky to get the exact right measurements, but you're going to want to go over to your unitard and make sure that the places that you painted will match the shape of the belt that you're going to draw out. So I'm actually drawing either side of the belt because it won't fit on one full piece of foam. So I'm doing two different pieces. So basically there's a big circle in the middle and then two sides. One side's thicker, one side's thinner, and then on either end there's kind of another circle that you'll need to draw out and then paint. And the shape doesn't have to be exact because you can always cut it out and reshape it later, but just kind of get an eyeball estimate of it and then paint your belt the same color that you painted your unitard. Moving on to the pieces of the belt, I'm first drawing 3 circles just to get a general idea of the size that I want, and then I'm using some yellow puff paint and drawing around on the inside of those circles. I'm also using some orange acrylic paint just to add a little more color and dimension, and then if you want to, you can add some glitter, and I wanted mine to pop even more, so I'm adding some glow-in-the-dark paint as well. But just be aware that puff paint does take a long time to dry, so the thicker your layer is, the longer it'll take to dry. And next, going back to the belt, you're going to want to paint a black strip in the middle of it because that's just what Lava Girl had on hers and it looks pretty cool. So going back to the arm cuffs, I'm going to be adding in that lava kind of portion now, and I'm using the same method and same colors as I did to those circles, basically just the yellow puff paint. And you don't have to use puff paint on the whole thing because it'll make it really thick, and so I just did puff paint for part of it and then orange in between, and also just kind of swirl it around so it just gets both of the colors kind of everywhere. Then glow in the dark paint and some glitter. Next we're going back to the bodysuit, and once it's dry you can just flip it over and basically repeat the same steps on the other side. I found an image of Lava Girl from her backside, and so I was able to kind of get a visual of how the design on her back looks. But yeah, first I'm just mapping it out and then painting it over with the same color. Be sure to do the edges first so that they connect with either side of the costume and they dry for you to kind of do the middle part. And I'm going back in again with some black to define it and make it a little more dimensional. And once that's dry, you can flip it over and add the lava to the front side. And I'm just using the same method that I did on the arm cuffs with the yellow puff paint, orange acrylic paint, and glow-in-the-dark paint, and then some glitter, of course. Next, we can go back to the cuffs, and I'm just going to be cutting out those little squiggly designs that we made earlier, and then hot gluing them to the foam. And next, I'm just going to glue together each of the foam sides so that it actually creates the arm cuff thing that we're looking for. And you can test this out on your arm too. Make sure that it's tight enough at your wrist so that it kind of pops out towards your elbow, but not too tight that you can still get it on and off. And I'm doing that with both of them. Then for the belt, I'm just cutting out the belt part and each of the circles, and then I'm gluing the circles on the part of the belt where it ends and where the circles are supposed to go. And then towards the center of the belt, which is the opposite side from the circle, I'm adding some lava yellow dots. And for the skinny one, I just did 3 dots, 1 longer one and 2 shorter ones. And for the bigger one, I just did 1 longer one and 4 tiny dots. Then once that's dry, you're going to want to make sure to check that with your costume to make sure everything fits properly. If not, you might need to add some more yellow lava stuff to make sure that it covers everything and there's no shiny material showing. You're also going to want to check that on the other side and make sure you know where to put your yellow puff paint, just so that you don't put it in the wrong spot and then that's not where your belt actually ends up going. So make sure you check that first. That's very important. And then once you figure out where it goes, you can go ahead and add in that yellow, orange, glow-in-the-dark lava stuff too. Then you're going to want to wait for that to dry, of course, and your last step is just to glue the belt onto your actual bodysuit unitard. So there is a zipper down the middle, so make sure you don't glue over the zipper and glue each side on the appropriate side, and then make sure it just fits where you put the lava, and if you put it in the wrong spot, then you might need to add a little bit more lava just to make sure it looks good and flows with the whole costume. costume. And for your middle circle piece of the belt, do not, I repeat, do not glue it on both sides of the belt. You're going to want to pick a side and then glue half of the circle onto that side of the belt. And because it's foam, it kind of has its own memory of just kind of staying there, so you won't really need to glue it or tape it or Velcro it to the other side unless you feel like you want to, but you shouldn't really need to, and the zipper will still work perfectly fine. But once you have that, then your costume is done, and if you want to, you can wear a pink wig, which I also got on Amazon, and you can wear some boots, or you can wear pink Converse. I just wore my pink Converse because I had pink Converse, so I didn't feel like buying new shoes. But yeah, this is the final look, and I hope you guys liked it. And I think the coolest part about this costume is that if you go trick-or-treating in it, you'll definitely stand out from all the other costumes because yours is gonna be glow in the dark. So that's the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I actually had a lot of fun making this costume, and this is actually what I'm going to be for Halloween. I'm going to be Lava Girl, my boyfriend's actually going to be Shark Boy, and he's making a video on how to do his Shark Boy costume. So if you guys want to see that, link in the description to that as well, to see the other version of this. I think it's just a cute costume because you don't really see many of those out there, especially because Lava Girl glows in the dark. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you like it, you want to see more videos from me. I promise you won't regret it. It's the best decision you'll ever make in your entire life. Also, don't forget to check out those videos of the other girls down below. They deserve way more attention on their channels. Their videos are amazing. So check that out, subscribe, like, check out Shark Boy, everything down below. Pick whatever you want to do. And thank you all so much for watching. I will see you all in my next video. Bye!